많이 아프셨겠어요.
그래서 염을 하는 거야. 아픈 기억이 남지 않게 잘 보내드려야지. 저곳으로 가시면 이곳에서의 기억은 모두 잊으실 거야.
So I've just realized while doing the edit that what he said is significant and it explains many things in the story. He said once they go over there, she will forget everything. Now, this could be an explanation for all the people who are wandering around in a coma. They are on the brink of life and death. They're almost dead. So that's why they can't remember what happened to them.
왜 3일장을 지내는지 알고 있나? 옛날부터 내려오는 우리나라 장례 문화야. 떠나는 분도 이별할 시간이 필요하지. 고인에겐 3일의 시간밖에 남지 않았다는 거야.
So here there are a few important points. A 3-day funeral is something that is done in Korean tradition. Also, it's done in Chinese tradition as well, which is part of my culture. And this person explaining to her that the 3 days are not just for mourning, but for hopes that the deceased could maybe come back to life, talks about the sadness and the hope that and the love of the family members for the person who passed away, hoping that maybe they're not dead yet. And these words are definitely very intentional because title itself, this 3-day funeral, is very significant because it will show how important the loved ones are to the person who dies and how desperately the person who dies also love their loved ones. This show is about her desperation for him to stay alive even though she's dead. What seemed extremely gruesome before, with her fingernails reversed, now you'll see that actually it has so much more meaning that is not gruesome at all, but very touching, because it's the memory of them holding their hands like this. When the hands are held together like this, her fingernails are actually on the inside of the fingers. This not only demonstrates her desperation in the previous episode when she tried to undo herself from strangling and her nails fell off, but also is a very strong symbol of the love that they had together. And this tapping, which we thought was so scary, actually
사랑해.
this beautiful depiction of love because she cannot speak or hear.
이지영 사랑해. 나도. 지영아 사랑해.
So her tapping the fingers is because of the memory of them trying to communicate through the vibrations of sound, saying I love you to each other using the vibrations of the drum so that she could feel and hear his words when he's talking to through the drum saying I love you. How could this Kang Pul writer even imagine or think of this way of communicating that extends beyond the barriers of disabilities or difficulties? So he didn't recognize her.
뭐가 못 들어줘요?
Scene which also seems super scary at first. You see the button that he pressed that lights up that light, right? Actually, they're inside. And what she is doing, she is a leather work craftsperson, and she is trying to sew his body back together in the desperate attempt for him to hang on to life. See, once she sews his body back together, he's able to get up again. But he has no idea where he is or what happened to him. So he is confused. And because she can't speak to him, because he can't remember her, she tries to communicate and jog his memory by tapping her fingernails, which symbolizes two things. One, remember our hands clasped together. Remember me. And also, two, remember our date where you tapped on the drum. I tapped on the drum and said, I love you too. Remember me. Remember what happened. Because you need to remember and you need to go to the light shop to get the light bulb. Here, the light bulb is a symbol of life. The lighting of a light bulb is a symbol of life. And the person at the light bulb, Ju Ji-hoon, played by Ju Ji-hoon with the sunglasses, is sort of like a a Grim Reaper, but he needs to do his job, so he doesn't ever volunteer a light to the person who's coming in or volunteer anything. He always asks the same thing, if you notice. Why are you here? On what purpose did you come here? And if the person who comes in asks for a light bulb, it is a symbol of that person in coma trying to hang on to life and through their will. And if they ask for a light bulb and it lights up, the light bulb lighting up is a symbol of life. When the light bulb goes out, is a symbol of the life ending. So basically, all these people's loved ones in this episode are trying to get their loved ones desperately to remember your situation, have the will to go to the light shop and ask for the light bulb to continue your life. And that is demonstrated later by and before by the nurse saying it really depends on the patient's will to live. However, the nurse also wondered, if the patient is unconscious, are they able to have a will? And if not, then how are they able to even have a will? What does this mean? Well, this writer is trying to say that the will of the patient maybe not just depends on themselves, but their loved ones who love them so dearly, giving them all this power and willpower to live, continue to live their lives. And that is the essence of this whole drama, and also especially the previous episode and episode 6. So she is there, and this another scene that seems so scary is actually where they used to date. She's trying to bring him to all the places that they were in, sew his body back together. So he wakes up in those places and remembers.
나 모르겠어요.
잠깐만, 저희가 구면인가요?
So see, he is bleeding, and slowly the story is revealing to us why he is falling like that. And this is a temple where they had their date. She's sewing his body together here again so that he wakes up. So what seemed like something in the very beginning, something so creepy, is actually very significant here about the 3-day funeral. We saw yesterday, we met today, and what about tomorrow? It demonstrates the 3-day, it's a symbol of the 3-day funeral, but it's also her hint to him to say, wait, what did she say?
어제도 보고 그제도 보고 막 얘기했잖아요. 이게
그제도 보고 어제도 보고 오늘도 봤으니까.
그제도 보고 어제도 보고 오늘도 봤으니까. So that's 3 days. We met the day before yesterday, yesterday, and today. And she says, 내일도 볼까요? Shall we meet tomorrow? So 3 days has already passed. Her time is up. The day before yesterday, yesterday, and today. And the line that says, shall we meet again tomorrow, is, I think, a symbol of her saying, now's the end of my funeral, but you still need to live on
곧 자정
tomorrow.
넘어가면 또 하루가 지나가요.
3일의 시간밖에 남지 않았다는 거야.
나한테 시간이 없어요.
선생님, 문제가 생겼어요.
She's trying to
냉장고
delay
문제예요.
as much as possible her being cremated at the funeral because she's really trying to get him to go to the light shop and reclaim his life. So much so that the door, her will is preventing the door from being opened. And this man, he's so wise and he totally understands everything about life and love and death. So he's giving her more time.
이동환이 오는데 잠깐 쉬었다 가시죠. 괜찮습니다. 우산도 없지 않습니까? 지금 이 시간에 문 연 곳은 여기밖에 없어요. 믹스커피 괜찮으십니까?
네, 감사합니다.
So we are left to wonder, why, out of all the people,
왜 그렇게 봅니까? 아까부터 제 얼굴 계속 훔쳐보시던데.
아, 죄송합니다.
선글라스는 여기가 너무 밝아서 끼신 겁니까?
좀 전에 여자 손님.
잠깐 스톱.
so this part is really significant, right?
사람을 보면
Out of all the
그만 보이시나
people who
봅니다.
visited the shop,
네,
this
나도
is the
직업이
first
그렇습니다.
time, except for
누가 만든
the
겁니다.
high school girl, this is the
아까
first
그
time that
여학생인가요?
he has tried to make him stay for as
고등학생
long as
딸이 있을
possible.
나이는 아니시네요.
또 오세요.
And he says, 또 오세요. Please come again. This is a message, a very important message. He wants the detective to realize something important as well. Also, why did the detective die? He must be dead as well. And he's wondering in this world.
배가 나올 만도 한데 왜 아직도 안 나오지? 천천히 먹어.
미안해.
He has no idea. He does retain his memories and the sadness, but he doesn't know where he's going and where the end is. He's just stuck in this continuous loop just like all the other people. But his story is a little bit different. He's trying to go after the scooter. All he knows is that he needs to find that guy. Now, I'm not sure how many people noticed this from way before. Did you notice the names of the girls that we called in this class during roll call? Their names are very unique. And if you know Korean, they're all sort of a similar type of name. Hopeful names like Sun and, not typical girl names necessarily. And then you will notice later on that actually all these names, Uhm, Bae Seong-woo, which means hope, Sarang, which means love, and Haesang, which means sunshine. These were the names that they were planning to give their daughter. His wife isn't here anymore. In fact, the kitchen is empty. There are no condiments, signs of everyday life. And he's confused. Back to the light shop. And Ju Ji-hoon is waiting for him to realize. I'm guessing he fell over as well because he was injured in the accident. And you see his right hand is shaking and his eye was rolling around. Those show his injuries and why he got into a coma. So he hears the sound of a scooter and goes chasing again. Later on, we will see an extension of his story. And apparently this detective is a very important character in the moving world, especially season 2. Now, Hyunju is also stuck, and her mom is trying desperately for her to also go to the light shop and ask for a light bulb. But if you've noticed, we've seen her go to the light shop, but we haven't seen her yet ask, actually, for a light bulb.
생각이 짓는 개구나.
So now we start to have more clues. As we can see, his torso is soaked with blood. She was afraid of him, but then she realizes that he's her neighbor. And what he asks
학생 거기 살아?
is very significant.
네,
혹시 전에 나 본 적 있어?
아니요.
아니, 내가 언제부터 여기 살았지? 학생은 언제부터 거기에 살았어?
아저씨! 그냥 둬. 내 남자야. 네? 비켜, 시간 없어.
Throwing him back together with him. And now we see both in this story arc, Hyunju's mother is trying to save her even though she's dead, but she's refusing to go. She can't speak.
서로를 기억하네요. 우린 같은데 왜 난 다르죠?
Now, this is just my theory, but how come Hyunju and her mom remember each other in this sort of brink of life and death world, but she she isn't remembered by her boyfriend, her fiance. And my theory is I could be wrong, is that they it's because Hyunju and her mother died together. However, she killed herself after thinking that her boyfriend was dead. And because they died at a different place at different times, I'm guessing that may be a possible reason why he doesn't remember her. This is just my theory. We'll find out in the next episodes, I suppose. We saw in the previous episode that the coroner, the mortician, was stuffing her mouth with cotton as part of dressing the corpse, so she can't speak anymore. This is also just a guess, and also what some other people have been saying as part of the Korean funeral tradition. So she can't speak, but she's trying, even though she can't speak, she's trying her best to get Hyunju to go to the light shop to get a light bulb. She said, I don't have friends, they ignore me. It's because she thinks they can see her, but actually they can't. So her mom is really running out of time as well.
너는 왜 날 기억하지 못하니? 이제 어디로 가지?
But what I don't understand is why can't she bring his body to the light shop, sew him up there, and just bring him there in the suitcase? That's what I don't understand.
여기서 뭐 하세요?
어? 내가 보여?
네.
죽었어?
Scene was really sad for me because it made me think of my grandma.
여기서 뭐 하시냐고요?
그냥 나 때문에 우는 소리 듣기 싫어서 나왔어.
옆에 앉아있던 젊은 남자분은 누구예요?
막내 손자야. 나 제일 예뻐했었지.
잘생기셨더라.
그치? 잘생겼지.
I had the same
앞으로
reaction
그놈
with
잊을
my
생각이
grandma.
그거 하나는 아쉬워.
And
나 오늘 염한데 내일 떠나.
it was so sad to see her go.
그곳에 가면 이곳의 기억을 다 잊게 되거든.
You know, my grandma before
다
she passed,
잊어야 되는데
she said,
손놈이 자꾸 눈에 밟혀. 나 괜찮다고 좀 전해주면 안 될까?
my grandma told me, even if I die and come back as a ghost, please don't be afraid of me. I can't forget those words. And this scene really made me cry so much.
얼마나 예뻐했냐면 아기 때부터 내가 걔를 업어서 키웠어. 아기 때 똥기저귀를 갈아주면 얼마나 예쁘게 웃는지
My grandma did
또 애가 얼마나 착한지 늘
the same thing for me. She raised me.
우리로서는 할 수 있는 건 다 했어요. 여기선 방법이 없대요. 이젠 환자의 의지가 중요하다고 했어요. 그 의지라는 게 어디서 오는 건지 잘 모르겠어요. 다만 어쩌면 그 의지라는 게 혼자만의 것은 아닐 수도 있지 않을까요?
어떤 힘으로 계속 이렇게 연명하는지 참 불가사의하구만.
이 환자는 의식이 없는데 그 의지는 어디서 오는 걸까요?
We see her also not remembering her past. And in that locked room, her lover is to give her all those signs to remember her past and to wake up and go for the light bulb and live. This is actually the hospital gown that she wore. So she's starting to realize something. this symbol of the light blinking is a symbol of her life, her heartbeat, because she's in coma and on the verge of life and death. Life when it brights up, or life when it lights up,
나 때문에 우린 우리 씨발 뭐 그럼 어쩌자고!
or death if it goes out.
깍지 끼는 손이 사후 경직으로 떨어지지 않는구만. 뒷분이 앞분을 살리셨어.
If you remember how she grew taller and taller, one theory is that it's because it's a demonstration of her strong will to protect this connection, protect this girl. You know, as the doctor said, the person behind her who grabbed
나 지금
onto
진짜
her
언니를 못 보겠어서 그래.
was what
언니가
enabled her to survive. That's why her body went. That's why her body grew so long and so tall to cover her up as much as possible.
뭐해? 여기 누구 좀 찾고 있어요.
Well, this is also a
누구?
long story, right?
여기는 가족 아니면 면회가 안 되는데.
그냥 아는 형인데 줄 게 있어서요.
뭘 주려고?
The high school boy saved him.
돌려주는 거예요. 이름 모르고 버스 사고 났던 날 내 목에 걸어줬어요. 그 형이 농구를 좋아했나 봐요.
So that he would
누군지
float.
알겠다. 누나가
In the water.
전해줄게.
정말요?
응, 내가 하는 일이야.
누나 무슨 일 하는데요?
공 줘봐.
So
방금 네가 한 거.
I think the
네?
high school boy saved his life.
어시스트.
This is the bus driver who is also unable to go to the afterlife because he feels so guilty. So he also has a lot of pan or resentment. And basically, in the Asian culture, or any culture of death really, if you have a lot of resentment or han or han in Cantonese, then you are not ready to leave for the afterlife yet because you have unfinished business in this life. Now, how come his lighter is able to work when it never was able to before? Now he's realizing, this is weird. And then he sees the shadow of himself and the back of his head is flat. Did you see that? Did you see that? The back of his head is gone. So he realizes something is off and he's back here again.
커피 한 잔 더 주시겠습니까?
However, this man has a very special role, which you will discover if you read the comic. And this is why he's different and retained by this man, I think.
이상했습니다. 뜨겁지도
So
않고
here,
맛도
my
느껴지지 않고
theory is you can
그런 것
see
같았습니다.
all the
그치만 느낌은
other
아주
characters
부족했어요.
and story arcs. Their
확인이
loved
필요했군요.
ones are still hanging around,
그래서 이것을
trying
해내다가
to
내
save
몸이
the
이상해진
other
걸
person, right? But
확인했습니다.
his wife
어떻게
apparently is
하셨습니까?
has probably died already. But oh no, wait a minute.
이삭이는
Maybe his wife
선물.
hasn't died.
그동안
But
직장만
anyway,
한다고
the
당신과
lighter is
제대로
a
된 게
symbol
하나도
of her
없잖아.
love for
마음에
him.
들어?
And also, it is through this lighter lighting up, him seeing his own shadow, and also realizing that the lighter would light up, makes him come back to the light shop to hopefully, maybe, I don't know, claim his life or to claim a bulb to wake up to claim his life. So basically, what I'm trying to say is the lighter is a symbol of his wife's love for him, and it's through his wife's love. It is through his wife's love for him that he realizes there's something wrong with himself and tries to cling and comes back here to hopefully cling on to his life and hope.
이상하다는 걸 확인할 수.
다른 사람들은 눈치조차 채지 못하는데.
다른 사람들?
예, 여기 조명가게엔 다양한 사람들이 옵니다.
Other people, you said, you notice other people, and that was the title of the first episode. Strangers or other people, 다른 사람들. He said the other people do not realize this, so he's talking about all these other people who are in their comatose state who came to his shop.
여긴 조명가게. 그럼 이곳은 어딥니까? 이곳은 달라요.
어떻게 다르던가요?
밤이 끝나지 않아요. 내가 이상한 건지 이곳이 이상한 건지 알아야 하겠습니다. 이곳은 어디입니까?
나도 같은 질문을 했었죠.
And there you have it. That's the end of episode 6. What did you guys think of this episode and the theories? Let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll be back with the next episodes. But we have to wait another week. Thanks for watching.